I need a doctor. Can I help you? Yeah, my engine's dead. Can you tell me a little bit more of what's going on? You do know that I help humans, right? Yeah, that's exactly why I came to find you. I need somebody who can think critically. Nobody else can solve it. Oh, you're a boater. We get a lot of you guys here in the clinic. You need a different type of doctor. I'll see if I can page her.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take the noose off. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing.
Where we're going, we don't need key cards. What do we got? No oil? Covered in dog hair? Salt in the cooling system? This is bad. I think I need to report this. This looks like engine abuse. Hey, so were you able to figure out what it actually was? Can you fix it? Well, matter of fact, yeah, I did. You got a bunch of issues going on, and it's not going to be cheap to fix. It costs how much to fix? I've got vacation in a week. The whole family's flying out. I can't pay for that. Well, unfortunately, it's a real busy season right now, so I'm actually booked out several months, and it's gonna be like 30 grand of repairs, including a repower. So if you want it done, you're gonna have to get on the calendar. You know what? I'm just gonna fix it myself. I know what to do. Hey guys, Meredith here with Madam Diesel, and no, you don't need a doctor just to fix your engine. And no, I'm not a real doctor. But I'm a real engine doctor, and I'm the biggest advocate for DIYers. However, that comes with a lot of responsibility. Far too often, I see engines that have no business being out on the water due to serious neglect or major problems that owners don't want to deal with. Being a DIYer is awesome. I'm one. And I understand that it can be mighty expensive to hire a mechanic, and it's perfectly fine to not want to hire out the work. However, if you're going to be fixing your own stuff, your engine, your electrical, and the other systems on board are really critical as they work as safety items so you can be safe out on the water. We don't want to be trapped in a place where we don't have access to help because our lives truly could be in danger if our engine isn't reliable. So, if we want to be self-sufficient DIYers, how do we go about doing that? Well, there's lots of ways, and some of the ways are really simple, like maintenance and being prepared, but other ways, are researching and learning as much as you can about the setup that you have, because the more you know about your own setup, the more you're going to be prepared to take care of yourself. You guys are already doing the first thing, and that's educating yourself. The more you know about what engine you have, how it works, by taking classes, watching videos, tracing your own systems on board the boat, you're going to be unstoppable. Now, that's actually something that I did as an engineer on the big commercial ships. The first 3 days, they would hand me a packet, and I would have to go trace every pipe, find every valve, and figure out how the system worked. It didn't matter that I had a basic understanding of a steam engine if I didn't know where all the plumbing went or where to go if something went wrong. And I've seen that work in real life where I've been on board a ship and a pipe bursts, and if I didn't know what valves to close when, I'm going to get into trouble really quick. So I would start out by tracing every system you have on board to the best of your ability, and if you have any questions, find somebody that you want to work with or hire a professional and go through the boat. Find all your through hulls, find your engine raw water, follow the coolant system, check your fuel system, all those things. Get to know it so well that if something happens while you're underway, you're good to go. And it's not an emergency where you're freaking out. Another thing is being prepared in terms of your regular maintenance. Now, this is one that I see all too often, and it's really not a good thing. People know generally to change their oil. That's rarely an issue unless they just flat out don't want to do it. Most people are pretty good about it. However, a lot of people really neglect fuel filters and some of their bigger maintenance items like heat exchangers, motor mounts, belts, impellers, things like that. And that stuff ends up giving up the ghost in the middle of their summer cruise, and it becomes a very expensive adventure for your mechanic to find her way wherever you are to come fix the engine. So the more you can have kind of ready to go before you actually leave the dock means the less you're going to be, draining your wallet in the middle of your cruise. A really big issue that I see among a lot of recreational boaters is being okay with subpar work or leaks or other issues that maybe aren't critical yet, but they don't seem to be hurting too much, and so, why deal with it now? Let's just wait until it actually physically breaks. Well, the danger in that is a lot of times it causes a lot of irreversible damage, and it could potentially be a major failure where now you're literally buying a new engine because you neglected it. I see this a ton where people are okay with things like water pumps or raw water pumps leaking for a long time, and then when it actually catastrophically fails and the engine overheats or the pump fails or whatever, then they're upset with the engine. It's not the engine's fault, it's your fault. And so don't be okay with, issues that are starting to develop. Your engine's trying to tell you a story, and it's up to you to take care of it, because if you neglect it and let it go too far, it's gonna, you're gonna have a catastrophic failure eventually. And so things like changing the heat exchanger, changing, leaking coolant, that sort of thing, identifying belt dust or leaking oil or something, figuring out what is causing the actual issue and trying to do something about it. If you want to be a DIYer, then DIY and fix your engine. One of the most important things that I can suggest is learning when to reach out and ask for help, whether that's asking for help from your neighbors and friends or asking for help from a mechanic or a specialist in whatever you're trying to do. Even I do this. I hired out help to help me get my repower on my sailboat done, and it was money well spent. There were aspects of that project that I knew I didn't have the skill set for. And does it make me any less of a mechanic because I couldn't, fiberglass the stringers for my own engine? No, it doesn't. Does it make me less of a mechanic because he helped me plumb in the exhaust and he got it done in like half the time I would have? No, it doesn't. So knowing when to stop what you're doing and reach out to the right person, that doesn't make you any less of a independent boater. It makes you a more resourceful boater. And it got done. A lot of times the work will be warranted or the parts will be warranted. And sometimes you're just busy doing other things and it's just easier and faster to hire out the work. So there's a time and a place for it. I'm certainly an advocate for doing as much work as you can on your own if you want to. However, it's okay to hire out help too. Well, that's it for tonight. I think Oakum's ready for bed. I'm gonna head home, get some work done on the boat, and I will plan on seeing you guys next video.